Welcome to Private Stories. Enjoy watching. I did not catch my wife cheating. I understood it. I am writing this because I need to put it somewhere. Not because I want advice. Not because I am looking for validation. I just need to say it out loud without being interrupted. I am 42, married for 11 years, together for almost 14. If you asked me a year ago whether my wife loved me, I would have said yes without hesitation. Not enthusiastically, not romantically, but confidently, like a man answering a question about gravity. Nothing was broken. Nothing was dramatic. Nothing was obviously wrong. That is what makes this harder to explain. Our life was structured, predictable, efficient. We woke up at the same time, drank coffee in the same kitchen, talked about schedules and groceries and work deadlines. We both worked. She in marketing, me in operations. Different worlds, same calendar. She laughed at my jokes. I listened to her complaints. We shared a bed. We shared a house. We shared responsibilities. Love was not loud anymore. It was functional. I used to believe that was what long marriages turned into. Not passion, not obsession, but loyalty and rhythm. I was not unhappy. That is important. I did not feel neglected. I did not feel unloved. I did not feel suspicious. I trusted her. Not because I thought she was incapable of betrayal, but because nothing in her behavior suggested distance. She texted me. She kissed me goodbye. She complained when I forgot things. Normal things. If you are waiting for the moment where everything suddenly changes. That is not how it happened. It happened quietly, like a room becoming colder without you noticing the exact minute it started. The first thing I noticed was not her phone. It was her timing. She started coming home slightly later. Not dramatically, not late enough to raise questions, just later than before. At first I assumed work. She had new projects, new pressure, new clients. I did not interrogate her. I asked casual questions. How was your day? Long, tiring. Same answers as always. But the pauses changed. She would answer, then wait, as if listening to something else inside her head. I am analytical by nature. I notice patterns, not because I am paranoid, because it is how my brain works. Her routines shifted by minutes, then by half hours, then by evenings that ended with, I am exhausted. I am going straight to bed. She still said good night. She still kissed me, but the kiss became quicker, more polite. One night I reached for her in bed, not aggressively, not urgently, just habit. She flinched, barely, but enough. Sorry, she said. I am just tired. That sentence stayed with me longer than it should have. People say it is the phone that gives everything away. It was not. Her phone stayed on the table, unlocked, ignored. What disappeared was something else. Her need for my attention. She stopped asking where I was, when I would be home, who I was meeting. At first I enjoyed it. Felt like trust, like maturity. Later I understood it was absence. One evening we sat on the couch watching something neither of us cared about. I told her a story from work. Something mildly funny. Something she would normally react to. She smiled, nodded, and did not ask a single follow-up question. Her body was there. Her mind was not. That was the first moment I felt something sharp. Not jealousy, not fear. Displacement. As if I was speaking to someone who had already finished this conversation somewhere else. I did not confront her. I did not accuse her. I did not check her messages. I told myself something rational, something calm. People change. Marriages evolve. This is normal. That belief lasted exactly 3 weeks. The moment I began to suspect something was wrong was not dramatic. It was inconvenient. She stopped arguing with me. If you have been married long enough, you know what I mean. Arguments are not pleasant, but they are proof of engagement. She used to challenge me, correct me, push back when she disagreed. Then one day she simply stopped. I would say something mildly irritating. She would nod, say okay, and move on. At first I appreciated it. Less conflict, less friction, but something about it felt unnatural. People do not become calmer overnight. They become detached. One evening I snapped at her over something stupid. A bill. A scheduling mistake. I raised my voice, not screaming, but sharper than usual. She looked at me, not defensively, not hurt, almost curious. Then she said something that still echoes in my head. You sound stressed. Do you want me to give you some space? Space. That word landed wrong. Not because it was offensive, but because it was generous in a way that did not belong to me anymore. I wanted her to be annoyed. I wanted her to push back. I wanted friction. Instead, she stood up and left the room. No tension, no aftermath. That night, I lay awake analyzing everything, like I do when something does not add up. I replayed conversations, gestures, tone changes, nothing individually suspicious, but together forming a shape I did not like. The next morning she left early, earlier than usual. She kissed my cheek, not my lips. I stood in the kitchen holding my coffee and realized something simple and terrifying. She had already emotionally left the room. I was just late to notice. The moment I truly understood did not come from discovery. It came from observation. We were at a small dinner with friends, people we had known for years. Wine, laughter, stories told and retold. She was radiant that evening, more than usual, engaged, alive, present, but not with me. I watched how she leaned forward when someone else spoke, how she laughed a second too late, as if reacting to something internal. At one point someone asked how we met, a story we had told dozens of times. I began. Automatically, she finished it for me, perfectly, but without looking at me once. Her eyes were fixed on the table, or maybe somewhere else entirely, and in that instant something clicked. I realized she was performing memory, not sharing it. Later that night, as we drove home, I asked casually, "Are you happy?" She paused, just a fraction of a second. But it was enough. "Yes," she said. "Of course." But she did not ask me the same question. That was when the conclusion formed. Not emotionally, logically. People who are fulfilled do not avoid reflection. They invite it. That night I did something I had never done before. I checked her phone. Not frantically, not obsessively, calmly, methodically. There was nothing. No messages, no suspicious apps, no hidden folders. That almost broke me more than proof would have, because it meant she was careful, or worse, that she did not need to hide anything anymore. The truth was not in her phone. It was in her relief when she thought I was not looking. I confronted her 3 days later, not with accusations, with observations. I told her she seemed distant, that something had changed, that I felt like I was speaking to someone through glass. She listened, patiently, too patiently. Then she sighed. "I was waiting for this," she said. That sentence destroyed the last illusion I had. I asked the question I had been avoiding. "Are you seeing someone else?" She did not answer immediately. She did not deny it either. "I am trying to understand what I feel," she said. "I never meant to hurt you." That was confirmation enough. I stood up, not dramatically, but with controlled anger. I told her she did not get to explore herself at the expense of my reality. She cried, quietly, genuinely. I did not shout. I did not insult her. I told her something very simple. You have already made your choice. I am just the last to hear about it. That night I slept on the couch. Not because I was asked to, but because the bed no longer belonged to both of us. We divorced 6 months later. There were no lawyers screaming. No dramatic scenes. Just paperwork. Logistics. Division of objects that had once meant something. She moved out first. The house felt larger, then emptier, then quieter. Sometimes I missed her. Not the woman she had become, but the version I thought I was married to. What hurt the most was not the betrayal. It was the realization that I had been the last one emotionally involved. Everyone else had moved on quietly. I was the only one who stayed until the end. I am not bitter. I am not angry anymore. I am precise. I learned something uncomfortable about love. Infidelity does not always begin with touch. It begins with relief. Relief that someone else is no longer responsible for your emotional weight. If you are reading this and something here feels familiar, pay attention. Not to the phone. Not to the lies. Pay attention to absence. That is where everything ends long before anyone leaves. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Visit our channel for interesting and intriguing stories from real people around the world.